Okay, so today I'm going to start the consideration for high frequency transmission lines. Now, we have already studied and seen how the working of a transmission line and the voltage and current equations on transmission line, how the current and voltage, how the current flows on the transmission line and how the voltage is developed across transmission line. Now the question is, if I increase the frequency of the current or the frequency of the source, then how the transmission line will behave and what modification we have to do in the transmission line, what are the special effects that will happen if I increase the frequency of the transmission line. So the now we know very well that a transmission line consists of conductors and separated by a dielectric. So minimum two conductors are required, so two conductors, and it is separated by dielectric in between, and these conductors have losses which is taken care by R, resistance per unit length, and G, per unit length, shunt conductance. The resistance R is due to the resistance offered by the conductors. Now, as the frequency of the signal increases, the resistance offered by the conductor increases due to skin effect. From skin effect, we know that the due to high resistance offered by the conductor with increase in frequency, the current generally resides on the surface of the conductor. It does not go inside the conductor, and if it does not go inside the conductor, then the cross section area decreases. And so there is an effective reduction in cross section, and if the cross section increases, the resistance offered by the conductor also increases. So analytically, it can be shown that the resistance offered by the conductor is directly proportional to the square root of the frequency of the signal. However, the conductors also offer reactance per unit length, because of which we include inductors. Now this reactance offered by the inductor is given by x equal to omega into L, and omega is 2 pi, 2 pi f. Here f will come 2 pi f into L. So due to this, so x is directly proportional. So so x is directly proportional to frequency of the signal, but the resistance offered is directly proportional to square root of frequency. So with increase in frequency, both are resistance per unit length and inductance per unit and reactance per unit length increases. It is inductive reactance because of inductor. But since x is proportional to f and r is proportional to square root of f, effectively x is much greater than r. So the reactance is much greater than resistance per unit length. This can be concluded at high frequency. If this is the approximation, we can approximate R to be close to 0. That means no loss. So we can consider to be perfectly lossless line. Even G is also responsible for introducing loss. Even G is very less. G also can be considered to be less. Now this is quantitatively. Qualitatively also it can be proved. If we take a very short wire, a short wire will have less conducting material and insulating material, so R may be less and G may be less, but this small wire may cover several wavelengths, because at high frequency wavelength is less. So this small length of wire may cover several wavelengths, so due to which my inductance will be high, but the resistance and resistance R and G losses will be less. So thus it is concluded at high frequency the line can be considered as completely lossless, and this makes our analysis much more simple. So analytically also, if we see that, so analytically also if we see that omega L is much greater than R, omega C is much greater than G, so the series impedance Z R plus J omega L can be approximated to be J omega L, and Y, that is the admittance G plus J omega C, can be approximated as J omega C. So the characteristic impedance of the line, which is given by R plus J omega L by G plus J omega C, we can approximate it to be root over L by C. that means it is totally real. This is what we have seen, that so the characteristic impedance of a lossless line is completely real. Similarly, the propagation constant if is given by this, so we can more or less, now how we will approximate this. Actually the loss is accounted for by alpha, attenuation constant. So if it is a loss, so here we see that alpha accounts for the loss in the transmission line. So if I consider the line to be lossless, then in that case we will get alpha value as 0. Alpha value will come 0. Similar now, but however we are not supposed to take the value of 0 value of alpha. However, if we take the value of alpha to be 0, then this is this will become an ideal case. So we will take some small value of alpha. Now this can be obtained by considering gamma as the general equation and then rearranging in this form so that we get r by j omega l term. Now since omega l is much greater than r, this term is less than 1. This term is also less than 1. Since these terms are less than 1, we can expand it in binomial series form. And if we expand this in binomial series form, we will get like this. And if we open the bracket, we get like this. So alpha is approximately this part. So this part is alpha and beta is approximately omega root lc. So these are the expressions of alpha and beta that we obtain by considering line to be lossless, very small value of alpha. And if we consider very idealistic case, and this also we can make it 0. However, a small value of alpha appears to be more realistic. Thank you.